Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Kari and this is Kari's Pryceless Journey. Today we're going to dive into a topic that honestly has changed my life. It's changed the trajectory of my grief, and it is simply getting real with God in our grief. For a lot of years, I believed that who was I to question, or that somehow my faith was less if I questioned. And a few years ago, I challenged myself to go through the Bible completely, and I did the Bible recap with Tara Lee Cobble, and I followed that, and it was the first time in my life that I'd ever completed the entire Bible. And for me, it changed everything. It changed everything about what I thought I knew about God, what I thought was acceptable to God. It just changed my whole perspective. And honestly, it's the reason I'm sitting here with you today. It's the reason that I want to share what grief looks like long term, because I think so many people just say time will heal, you'll get over it, you'll feel better, whatever the catchphrases are that people share out of kindness and goodness and just honestly not knowing better. And some of those things are true, but you've lost somebody significant in your life and it hurts. And that longing and that missing them isn't going to go away. You don't reach an end point to that. But what I will say is trusting in God, getting real with God, getting in His Word can change the way you face every day. It can change the level of the ache, maybe. I don't quite know, because I would be lying to you if I sat here and said I don't have that ache anymore, it's just gone, because that's just simply not true. I wish more than anything I still had my daughter, as well as I'm sure that many of you wish more than anything that you still had your loved one. But what I will tell you is that God allows me to see more of the joy, less of the pain, and I can, I'm having this conversation with you and I am not holding a tissue. That's a huge one for me, because any of you who know me know that I spend a lot of time crying. I still do cry a lot. I'm an extremely emotional person. But I'm able to speak about Brittany without completely losing it. I'm able to speak about the ways that God's moved in my life without being in a puddle. And I hope that that alone gives you the courage to get real with God, to get in your Word, to really just give it all to Him and trust Him that He will continue to walk with you even on the hard days. So let's dive in. So I'd like to start in the Psalms, particularly Psalm 13. This is David pouring out his heart and asking real questions of God. God, have you forgotten me? How long will you forget me? And I think what David does particularly well in the Psalms is gives us an example of how to take our questions to God and how those questions lead us to trust Him more and to not approach God out of anger and bitterness, but to approach Him from a place of true yearning to feel Him closer, to know that He's with us. God isn't afraid of our heartbreak. He's not afraid of our anger. He welcomes it. He wants to be a part of it. So in Psalm 13, David asks, "How long, Lord? How long will you forget me? How long will you hide your face from me? How long do I have to wrestle with my thoughts?" I've been exactly in that place of, is it always going to hurt this much? Am I always going to feel like this? And the more that I learned that it was okay to have those questions, and the more that I pressed in with those things, the more trust that I built, and the more goodness I saw, and the more opportunities to share that came my way. And for me, that's just, I don't know, it's exciting to think that it's okay to not hide those things from Him. And I'm immensely grateful that I no longer do. What I would encourage you this week is pick a psalm. This psalm is a good one to start with, and really dive into it. Spend some time writing it down, meditating on it, asking the Lord to reveal to you what He would like for you to learn and understand from it. And honestly, I would encourage you to do those kind of things with each verse that we share here. I think, sorry, neighbor's dogs. They want my dog to come play. But honestly, I think if you spend that time, it's a place to start. And I think that you will begin to see God showing up in ways that honestly you didn't quite expect. The next verse I want to share comes from Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15 and 16. "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weakness, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet He did not sin. Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need." It's so true. Jesus was tempted. Satan spent plenty of time saying, you can do this, you can do that, why not just do it? And we're faced with so many things along those lines. Satan will use every opportunity to convince you that God isn't anywhere near. And look at what He did to your life, and look at how He took your loved one. And let me promise you, right here, right now, that is not God. That is 100% the enemy, and we will just claim right here together that we are not going to allow it, and we will come to the throne with confidence that God will be our comforter and that He will help us through this challenging time, and that He will show up. He's going to be right there next to you every single step of the way. So this is another verse where I just love that Jesus understands the weakness that we have, the struggles that we face. He faced those same things. And I think we talked about in our very first video how Jesus wept because He also faced loss. He faced loss with His very dear friend. And He even knew what was coming. He even knew how all of it was going to be turned around. But yet He still wept because it was hard. And so we can use these opportunities together in His Word to encourage us to trust Him and just to continue leaning on Him and leaning in. I want to close out today just sharing some of the ways that the Bible models lament for us. We can turn to the Psalms. We can turn to Job, Jeremiah. All of these books model for us what it looks like to lament to God, to question God, but to still be thankful for His goodness. And so I believe that the more you get in the Word, the more that you're going to start seeing healing in your life. The more that you get real with God about your grief, the more you're going to feel Him right next to you. He meets us right in the mess. He's right there to hold our hand. He's right there for us to lean in on. And He wants us to. So that's my encouragement for you this week, is lean in. Let God in on the mess. Don't try to hide it from Him. He can see it anyway. Get real and get honest with God. I can't wait to spend time with you in the next video, and I am praying that God continues to show up and to remind you that you are not alone in your grief and that He is right there next to you. I'll see you next time.